At the outset, I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Loving Sai Ram and greetings from Prashanti Nilayam. This is my 12th talk in the Valmiki Ramayana series, and having completed the first 2 kandams, I shall today begin on the Aranya Kandam, which is the third of the 6 kandams of the Ramayana. This is where Ravana makes his entry for the first time, taking Rama one step closer to the mission objective. It begins with Rama, Sita and Lakshmana going deep into the forests of Dandakaranya after taking leave of sage Atri and his wife Anasuya. I mentioned all that last time. After traveling for a long time, the royal exiles saw a cluster of hermitages. Approaching closer, they came across a big group of sages whose aura was a testimony to their rigid sense and mind control. Beholding the divine trio, the sages went into rapture and extended to them a warm welcome with all the due courtesy. Palms joined in respect, the sages then made a collective prayer. O Rama, you are aware that it is the duty of a king to protect those who live in his kingdom. Whether you are in the city or the forest, for all of us here, you are our king always. As such, we must report that we are being frequently attacked by powerful ogres. Being ascetics, we are forbidden from fighting. Under the circumstances, you being our ruler must also be our protector, giving us the tender care that a loving mother would give to her child. Rama was deeply touched and assured the sages that they no longer had to fear for their safety. Thereafter, Rama, Lakshmana and Sita continued their trek in the forest. The region through which the exiles were now traveling was not only heavily forested, but also full of animals of various kinds, including the occasional tiger. Suddenly, Rama spotted an ogre of gigantic proportions, wearing tiger skin as dress and carrying a lance that had some animal heads stuck on it. Sita was visibly frightened and justifiably so. Indeed, even Rama was surprised by the size of the monster and the ferocity that he radiated with his mere looks. Addressing Rama and Lakshmana, the ogre roared, "You two out there with matted hair and wearing the bark of trees as clothing, what are you doing here in my territory? Have you wandered here because your end has come near? In which case, welcome. My name is Virada, and I enjoy eating the flesh of sages. I shall first drink your blood, after which I shall take this beautiful lady coming along with you to be my wife." Making a thunderous sound, Virada grabbed Sita in the twinkling of an eye, after which he stepped back some distance to stare at Rama and Lakshmana, taunting them some more. While Sita was absolutely petrified, for a moment Rama too remained frozen in a state of shock. However, Lakshmana quickly managed to energize Rama back to action. Turning then to the ogre Virada, Lakshmana roared, "You stupid man-eating beast! It is your time that has come to an end and not ours, for soon the earth shall drink your blood, and to us shall belong the pleasure of offering that blood to Mother Earth." Exploding with laughter, Virada responded, "We shall see about that. But first I am very curious to know who exactly you two are, and what are you doing out here?" Rama replied, "We are Kshatriyas and have come to the forest on a certain mission. By the way, we too wish to know who you are and what you are doing here. Virada said, "Sure, I shall tell you something about myself. My father bears the name Jaya, while Sadahrida is the name of my mother. By propitiating Brahma the creator with appropriate tapas, I have acquired a special boon whereby I can never be killed with a weapon. Now take my advice and run away from here as quick as you can. If you do that, I shall spare you both. This lady, of course, shall remain with me. That, I suppose, is clear to you." Rama and Lakshmana replied with a shower of arrows, all of which without exception penetrated deep into the body of the mountainous monster. Seemingly unaffected, Virada simply laughed and followed it by letting out a huge yawn, the force of which shook all the arrows out of his body. For an instant, Rama and Lakshmana were taken aback, for they had never seen anything like this before. Meanwhile, after placing Sita on the ground, Virada started rushing towards the brothers with his huge lance, whereupon Rama, with the help of accurately directed arrows, smashed the lance into pieces. Drawing next their swords, Rama and Lakshmana lunged forwards and with powerful strikes felled Virada to the ground. However, the ogre not only managed to get quickly back to his feet, but also succeeded in grabbing both Rama and Lakshmana in his huge hands. Rama then whispered to Lakshmana, "We shall let this fellow carry us and move. While he is doing so, we shall keep attacking him." That exactly is what happened next, even as Virada ran deeper into the forest carrying the two brothers on his shoulder. Meanwhile, seeing Rama and Lakshmana being carried away, Sita began to wail loudly. And when Rama heard that cry, he began attacking Virada even more vigorously. Soon, the two brothers managed to cut off both the arms of the monster. At the same time, it became apparent to them that no matter how much injury they might inflict, the ogre simply would not die. Rama then said to Lakshmana, "Brother, there is only one way we can get rid of this beast. You dig a deep pit, and together we shall fling him into that pit and bury him." Hearing this, Virada cried out, "O Rama, till now due to delusion I did not fully understand who you are. Before I am buried, you should know something about my real nature. I am in fact a Gandharva, a celestial being bearing the name of Tumburu and a musical celebrity. Once when I was sporting in the company of the celestial beauty Ramba, I did not notice the arrival of King Kubera and thus failed to extend to him the courtesy due. Becoming angry, he cursed me to be born as an ogre. However, by your divine touch, I have now been freed of my curse. All that remains is for my soul to be freed from my body. I cannot be killed by any weapon. However, if you bury me, I would die and my spirit would ascend to heaven. Please, therefore, proceed to do exactly as you had planned. One more thing, after I am gone, please make sure you meet Sage Sarabanga, for he would tell you something very important." Lakshmana then dug a deep pit into which the two brothers pushed the body of Virada, after which they filled the pit completely with earth. And even as this was being done, liberated from the curse, the spirit of Tumburu rose into the sky, disappearing into the celestial region. Going back to where they originally were, Rama and Lakshmana joined with Sita, bringing her up to date about the extermination of Virada. Thereafter, the three resumed their interrupted journey, moving now towards the ashram of sage Sarabanga. As they approached the sage's ashram, Rama noticed something both wonderful and unusual, namely a highly decorated chariot parked in the sky and someone seated in the chariot surrounded by celestial beings. The entire sky was aglow with beautiful radiance, even as the occupant of the aerial chariot was engaged in an intense conversation with sage Sarabanga. Drawing Lakshmana's attention to this remarkable scene, Rama said, "Brother, you wait here, while Sita and I go a bit further to find out what exactly is happening." Actually, it was Indra who was conversing with the sage, and seeing Rama approach, the Lord of the Heavens told his companions, "Rama is coming here and he should not see us, so we had better leave." Taking hurried leave of sage Sarabanga, Indra, riding his chariot, rose into the sky and vanished, while the sage resumed his worship of the sacred fire. That was when Rama arrived, and after offering respects to the venerable sage, asked, "O Holy One, if I am not mistaken, I thought I saw Indra here. What, if I may ask, was the purpose of his visit?" Responding with a smile, the sage said, "Rama, as you perhaps know, I have, through rigorous sense and mind control as well as intense tapas, earned the merit to go to Brahmaloka, the abode of Brahma, the Creator. Indra came here to tell me that my time had come and that he was here to personally take me with him to my destination. However, I declined that offer since I knew that you were coming. How could I leave this place without having your darshan, especially when I knew that you were actually in the neighborhood?" Deeply touched, Rama responded, "O sage, I feel so honored by your words. Be assured that I shall personally bring any world of your choice right down to your doorstep. Meanwhile, please be so kind as to indicate a spot where Sita, Lakshmana and I could set up a dwelling." "Happy to be of service," sage Sarabanga replied. "Rama, I know exactly the spot for you. It's an absolutely wonderful place, and to reach it you must go along the Mandakini river, but upstream. After a while you would see the ashram of sage Sutikshana, a most pious being and one of great merit. He would arrange a residence for you. The service that I was waiting to perform having been done, I am now ready to shed this mortal coil. So, before you go from here, please arrange a pyre for me and light it. And when that is done, I shall bid goodbye." Rama did as the sage requested, and when the pyre was lit, Sarabanga entered the fire full of smiles. And as the flames consumed his mortal frame, his spirit ascended to Brahmaloka, even as Rama and all the others assembled there watched in awe. The sages who had gathered to bid farewell to sage Sarabanga then adjourned along with Rama, Lakshmana and Sita to the late Rishi's ashram. Once there, the residents made a prayer to Rama saying, "O noble one, we Brahmanas living here and in the neighboring regions are constantly being harassed by the augurs. These demons not only persecute but also often kill the Rishis, who are engaged solely in pious tasks and in chanting the Vedas. Thus it is that the entire region is littered with the bodies of sages who have been ruthlessly attacked and mercilessly killed. Rama, we submit to you and seek your protection. Indeed, other than you, there is no refuge." Once again, Rama was deeply moved and replied, "O holy ones, you should not speak to me like this. I am here only to serve you, and all you have to do is to command me. I thought I had come here to spend some time as a part of my exile. However, it appears that destiny has deliberately sent me here with a purpose. How fortunate I am to be able to serve holy sages like you. Please be assured of my fullest cooperation. Your troubles are over, and from now on you would be fully safe and no longer bothered." Assurance given, Rama and party then moved to the ashram of sage Sutikshana, to which they had been directed by sage Sarabanga. It was a long trek through dense and bushy regions, with many streams along the way. Eventually, Rama saw a mountain way in the distance, at the foot of which was a forest. Entering it, Rama, Lakshmana and Sita were struck by its beauty, and as they guessed, this was where sage Sutikshana lived. Respectfully presenting themselves before the venerable sage, they offered their salutations. With unconcealed joy, the sage said, "O Rama, do you know that I have been eagerly waiting for you? Actually, a short while ago, Indra came here to take me personally to his abode, saying that with my tapas I have earned the eligibility to be in Swargaloka or heaven. Politely but firmly I declined the offer. Do you know why? Because I knew that you were coming. Is there any heaven greater than having your divine darshan? Rama, we are all so glad that you are here. Just for the experience of having you with us, I am ready to surrender to you all the merit I have earned, including the right to go to any higher world. This place is well endowed. Please stay here and fill us with joy. We shall be totally at your service, ready to fulfill any wish of yours." Parenthetically, it might be remarked that while almost always Rama maintained an entirely human profile, truly realized souls invariably recognize Rama as the incarnation of the Supreme One. Profusely thanking Sutikshana, Rama said, "O sage, while I am deeply grateful to you for your kind remarks, I believe every person has to earn merit by his or her own endeavor and not receive it as a gift from someone else. Thus, while I thank you for your kind offer to transfer your gains to me, the principles to which I am committed do not allow me to accept your proposal. All I ask of you is to indicate to us some spot in the neighborhood where we might set up an ashram of our own and live quietly without causing any disturbance or inconvenience to anyone in this neighborhood, including yourself." Appreciating Rama's sentiments, the sage then invited Rama to spend at least one night as his guest, which Rama readily agreed to. Next morning, even as Rama and the others prostrated and took leave of sage Sutikshana, the sage said, "I wish all of you a safe and pleasant journey. This forest is beautiful and a feast for the eyes. I am therefore certain every one of you would find it most enjoyable. Rama, there are many rishis living in this Dandakaranya forest, and they would all love to see you. So, please make sure you visit all of them, granting them your darshan. At the end of it all, please do pay us a return visit." Taking leave of sage Sutikshana, Rama, Lakshmana and Sita then slowly wandered through the forest, enjoying its beauty. After a while, Sita started a spiritual dialogue with Rama, saying, "Rama, it is my feeling that even a good man can easily slip into the path of adharma via 3 types of mistakes. The first is speaking untruth, and this you can never be guilty of. The second is to covet another man's wife. This too is absolutely unthinkable where you are concerned. The third is the killing of other beings, even if they have not directly caused harm. In this respect, I do have some concern. Earlier, I heard you give the assurance to various rishis that you would kill any ogre that you might come across in this forest. This bothers me a lot, and I shall explain why. I have heard a story according to which Lord Indra once came down to the earth in the disguise of a soldier, and approaching a rishi said to him, 'O sage, here is a sword which is a prized possession of mine. I have to go to a place where I cannot take this sword. Please, therefore, may I leave it with you for a while and collect it later?' The sage agreed and received the sword, promising to take good care of it while the soldier was away. The moment the sword came into his life, the rishi's attitude changed. Gone was his total focus on Brahman, his attention now being consumed by the safekeeping of the sword. He thus began to carry the sword with him wherever he went, including for gathering fruits and berries. Soon, his thoughts ceased being peaceful, and in fact he even became cruel. Why? All because of constant association with a weapon he should never have had. Rama, with much love and deep respect for you, I make this submission. While wandering about in the forest with weapons, please do not kill any ogre unless it gives you some cause. Among other things, the scriptures say that one must not kill anyone who is not an enemy. Looking at it another way, I see a bit of contradiction in your choosing to live like an ascetic while in exile and carrying weapons at the same time. An ascetic is a Brahmana, while only a Kshatriya carries a weapon. How can you be both at the same time? My submission is that while in exile, please live like a hermit whose attire you wear. When you return to Ayodhya, you can start playing the role of a Kshatriya once more. Dharma is the very essence of this world, and it is from Dharma alone that both wealth as well as happiness must come, not by any other means. I have told you what I know. While you might dismiss this as the ramblings of an ignorant woman, I have done what I thought I ought to. Perhaps you could discuss all this with Lakshmana and arrive at a suitable conclusion. Rama carefully heard all that Sita said without interrupting her in the least. Beaming with joy, he then said, Sita, do you know how proud I feel? It is only a daughter of Janaka and the one who understands the subtleties of Dharma who could have spoken in the manner you have just done. You no doubt have made a powerful point about not killing the augurs unless they trouble us. At the same time, please listen to my side of the argument. Did I decide to go on my own after the augurs? No. I decided to only after earnest prayers were made to me by a number of rishis. These rishis are peace-loving souls, wholly engaged in the contemplation of Brahman. It is true, rishis have enough powers acquired through relentless pursuit of the spiritual path to destroy these augurs with mere curses. However, they rightly argue that whatever powers they might have are not meant to be dissipated in acts born of anger, a sense of revenge, etc. Once they have sought refuge in me, how can I spurn or abandon them? I had to promise to protect them, and having made a promise in a righteous cause, I now have to keep it at all cost. That really is what Dharma is all about. At the same time, let me solemnly assure you that far from being displeased with what you have said to me, I am actually thrilled by your deep concern for the protection and the upholding of Dharma. After all, are you not my partner and companion in Dharma? Sita accepted Rama's reasoning and thereafter busied herself admiring not only the mountains and rivers en route, but also the flowers, the trees, and the various animals in the forests, including the wonderful elephants. Eventually, the trio saw in the distance a cluster of hermitages, and upon coming close, they found that many rishis lived there. The ambience there was so wonderful that Rama accepted the invitation of the rishis to spend time in that neighborhood, visiting the different ashrams in rotation. Indeed, so congenial was the place that before they knew it, 10 years had passed. Deciding it was time to return as promised to the ashram of sage Sutikshana, Rama bade farewell to the locals, retraced his path back to the hermitage of Sutikshana, and had a warm as well as affectionate reunion with the latter. At one point during the conversation, Rama asked the sage, O Holy One, during my wanderings I heard a lot about sage Agastya. I am very eager to meet him, but do not know where exactly he lives. Please, can you guide me to his place? With pleasure, replied the sage, and then gave the detailed instructions. After which he said, Rama, before you reach the ashram of sage Agastya, which by the way is in the south, you would first come to the hermitage of his brother. Take a short break there before proceeding to the ashram of Agastya, for it would give you some rest. Rama then took leave, and after walking for a long time, spotted in the distance the ashram of the brother of Agastya. As they slowly walked towards the hermitage, Rama narrated to Lakshmana and Sita the story of Agastya, explaining why he was so keen to meet the latter. Rama began, "There once lived two cruel ogres named Vatapi and Ilvala, who took delight in tricking Brahmanas, killing them, and then eating their flesh with great relish. The method they employed was as follows. Ilvala would first disguise himself as a pious Brahmana, and approaching other Brahmanas would, pretending to be humble, say in chaste Sanskrit, 'O holy ones, today happens to be the Shraddha or death anniversary of my parent. I request your kind assistance in performing the rites in accordance with the scriptural injunctions.' Since it was one of the duties of Brahmanas to help ordinary people perform such rites, those requested would readily agree. After offerings to the sacred fire were concluded and it was time to serve food to the Brahmanas, Ilvala would offer goat's meat previously cooked and kept ready. The goat used for preparing the food was no ordinary animal. It was Vatapi who assumed the form of a goat. And such were Vatapi's powers that though slaughtered as a goat and cooked, he could still live. After the meal was served, Ilvala would, in the traditional manner, ask those who partook of the meal, 'O holy Brahmanas, was the meal served good? Are you happy and satisfied? For only when you are would my departed ancestor feel likewise.' And as was the custom, those who ate would normally say, 'The meal served was good in every respect, and yes, we are absolutely satisfied.' That was when Ilvala would cry out, 'Vatapi, it is time for you to come out.' Whereupon, tearing the stomachs of the Brahmanas and spilling their entrails, Vatapi would emerge shouting with joy. The two brothers would then gleefully devour the flesh of all the Brahmanas they had tricked and killed." Rama continued, "This went on for a long time until one day sage Agastya decided to put an end to this atrocity. To start with, he allowed himself to be invited by Ilvala, presided over the Allas Shraddha ceremony in the manner prescribed in the Vedas, and then sat down for the ritual meal. As usual, Ilvala had cooked the meat of the goat, whose form Vatapi had earlier assumed. And as always, at the end of the meal, Ilvala, pretending to be the perfect host, asked, 'O sage, are you satisfied?' Agastya smiled and replied, 'Of course I am.' Everything was perfect. Thinking that the moment had come, Ilvala then cried out, 'Vatapi, it is time for you to come out.' However, nothing happened, which left Ilvala totally stunned. Thoroughly enjoying the scene, Agastya mockingly asked, 'Are you expecting Vatapi to tear my stomach and come out? Forget about it, for I have, using my powers, totally digested him. He is gone, and there ends your cruel deception using which you two have thus far tricked and slaughtered countless Brahmanas.' Hearing this, Ilvala became furious and tried to attack Agastya. However, it took just one fiery look from the sage to reduce Ilvala to ashes on the spot. Thus ended a reign of terror, and at long last this region, which we have now entered, became safe once more as a retreat for those wanting to meditate. That, in brief, is the story of the great Agastya. Over there I see a hermitage, which from the description given earlier by Sage Sutikshna appears to be the abode of Agastya's brother. Come Lakshmana, come Sita, let's go and present ourselves." Agastya's brother was absolutely thrilled to see Rama, Lakshmana and Sita and extended a warm welcome to them. After spending the night there, they resumed their journey the following morning, and as they were approaching the ashram of the celebrated sage Agastya, Rama said to Lakshmana, "Brother, do you know how holy and sacred this place is? Simply on account of the purity of this great sage and the power of his tapas, no evil person can come anywhere near it. Not merely that, even celestial beings come down from their heavenly abode to wait on sage Agastya and render service to him. Further, many an exalted soul has ascended to heaven from here. In all respects, this is an ideal place, and the neighborhood is well endowed with all that we might want. This is where I would like to spend the rest of our exile period, engaged in adoring the great sage and serving him as best as we can. By this time, they were almost on the threshold of the sage's hermitage, and Rama signaled to Lakshmana to approach the hut, announce their arrival, and seek permission for all of them to enter. When sage Agastya heard that Rama was at his doorstep, he was so delighted that he immediately rushed out, welcomed Rama with immense joy, washed his feet with water in the manner prescribed, and then offered a seat in strict Vedic tradition. Normal conversation then followed, and after a while the sage said, Rama, I am now going to give you many weapons, such as a bow, a quiver, a sword, etc., which were used by the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara themselves. In addition, I shall give you arrows that were personally given to me by Indra. I am sure you would find them all to be very useful in due course. The sage continued, I am so happy to see all of you here, especially Sita, for truly she is exceptional and a jewel amongst women. Visibly pleased to receive so much love and affection from the great sage, Rama then respectfully asked, O Holy One, please could you recommend to us some spot in this wonderful neighborhood where we could establish an ashram and live? Agastya smiled and replied, Rama, through my yogic powers, I know all about Dasaratha and the circumstances that brought you here. I know just the right spot for you. A short distance from this ashram, there is a place called Panchavati. It is quiet and sacred, with plenty of fruits and roots in the neighborhood. By settling down there, you could conveniently serve the ascetics of this region. As one who knew both the past as well as the future, Agastya was well aware that his seemingly routine advice to Rama was in the nature of a curtain raiser for the main mission for which the Lord had taken human form, incarnating as Rama, the son of Dasaratha. However, while giving advice to Rama, he gave absolutely no hint that it was closely linked to events that were about to happen soon. For his part, Rama gave no inkling of his divine identity either, playing to perfection the role of a prince in exile. Taking leave of sage Agastya, Rama then proceeded as directed by the sage. Sometime later, they saw a vulture of gigantic proportions, whose very size proclaimed its strength and power. Even as the two princes were wondering who this bird was, the vulture spoke to Rama and said, O prince, my name is Jatayu, and I am a dear friend of your father Dasaratha. Pleased to hear that this huge bird was a friend and not a foe, Rama then began conversing with Jatayu, who enthralled his listeners by narrating the entire history of creation, including how each living species came into existence. Describing finally his own parentage, Jatayu said, I have an elder brother named Sampati, whom you might perhaps meet someday. Meanwhile, I seek one important favor from you. Wherever you establish yourself in this forest, please allow me to stand in guard and protect Sita while both of you are away from the hut. Delighted with the offer, Rama asked Jatayu to join them, and together they went towards Panchavati, their destination. Time is up, and that's all I have for you today. Next talk is where Ramayana shifts one more gear towards drama, suspense, etc. Till then, all the best. With much love and humility, I dedicate this talk to Swami. Jai Sai Ram.